Hey guys, it's Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. This is our project today. It's got a coordinating card. So the card was what prompted the box design, but the box was a request from Karen. So Karen asked me if I would make a box, a Twinkie box. She had seen something online and was having trouble with the tutorial, so she asked me if I would help, and so I did. This is my kitchen table stamper Twinkie box tutorial. All right, so here's our little box. See, it's a two-part box. It's a Twinkie. The box itself is 1 1/4 by 2 by 4 1/2. So of course you could put something else in there besides a Twinkie, but that's this little box, a little two-part box. That's what we're gonna do today. See, it's a nice snug fit, really good little box. You can put whatever you want in there, but it fits a Hostess too. All right. So those of you who love this set, I'm gonna go back to comments in just a minute and we'll chat a little bit. This is the Hippo Happiness photopolymer stamp set. It's a $1 million stamp set. I think it's Robin Cardin's $1 million stamp set. Love this set, but I love anything punny. So I was a shoo-in from the very start with the hip hippo hooray and happy birthday to you. Oh gosh, you are special. I was in so much trouble with the stamp set, but let me show you the coordinating dies. So this is the Hippo and Friends dies. And even if you don't love the Hippo Happiness stamp set, which, excuse me for saying, if you don't, I don't know if we can be friends. Oh man, did I say that out loud? Sometimes I just let the words out. Of course we can be friends if you don't like the Hippo Happiness stamp set. But look at the Hippo and Friends die set. So it's got these nested labels besides the unicorn, the lamb, or the ewe, and the unicorn can be a horse, and the hippo. So besides the butterfly and the balloon and all those fun things, it's got nested labels that are just amazing. 3 designs. So it's got this kind of clipped corner rectangle. What do we call this, Katie? I don't know if Katie's even here. A swoopy square. And then this is the swoopy square on the card, this middle size one. But I don't know if the camera's gonna catch that, but this is the new velveteen paper. I thought, how perfect. Jackie and I were talking about, what do you use the colors? Because the velveteen paper is very interesting colors. And she had said, oh, those are perfect colors for the Hippo Happiness Bundle. And she was totally right. Are you guys catching at all how that's fuzzy? That velveteen paper is so cool. So the swoopy squares, 3 of them. And these are like 2 nested, and then the middle one is a little bit different shape. So great details. They're stitched for these 2 label designs. And then there's this oval label with the peaks, the corners. This one is not stitched. It's actually beveled just a little bit. It's got a little embossed edge. And then there's 3 nesting sizes. So this bundle is amazing. When you join the Kitchenettes in June, you get a $99 starter kit. You choose $125 worth of product, and you grab this bundle for free. Just a suggestion. I also like Tasteful Touches. That bundle is amazing too with its dies. So don't miss out on the starter kit promotion. If you've thought about joining Stampin' Up, grab the Hippo Happiness that we're going to work with today, because it's a cute stamp set with coordinating dies that will cut out all your images. But this label set, I hope it stays forever and ever and ever. All right, I think it'll be easier if I turn this way. We're gonna start with cutting our box pieces, and I thought it would be easy if I just showed you, because when you've got a 2-part box, you need your bottom box, the bottom half, to be a 1/16 smaller than the lid, so that you have enough room to slide, but so that it's not loose and wiggly. So if you hate 1/16, watch this, let me show you. So you're gonna take your 8.5 by 11 paper, You want to cut it down on the 8.5 inch side. You want to cut it down to 7 inches. All right, so we've got our 7 inch by 11 inch paper. Now we're going to rotate 90 degrees and cut off 4.5. All right, so far, so good, right? Following with me? You tracking? This is the lid of your box. So you want to put that one aside. Now, you're going to slide your paper to 4 inches again, or 4.5 inches again, but you're going to back out 1/16 of an inch. So here's our 4.5. The longer line is 1/8, the shorter line is 1/16. So just go all the way to 4.5, but then back out that 1/16 inch. Then you don't have to worry about how many 16ths it is. You just back out from the lid to make the bottom. Now you do have one more cut to make here, because this is 7 inches and it needs to be 1/16 of an inch shorter to be the bottom half of the box, right? So with 7, we're gonna go one line, just back it out. Now this is the bottom half of your box. Now you're gonna have a box that's snug enough that the lid won't fall off, but it's going to be loose enough that it slides on easily, and you didn't have to worry about a whole bunch of 16ths. All right, was that helpful? Anybody else hate 16ths? All right, and you'll notice over here, I put the lid of my box, and over here, I put the bottom, because you don't want to confuse them and decorate the bottom of your box. It would be sad. So I got my little Simply Score tool now, and let me show you this too. So this is Misty Moonlight, and you might, yeah, I think the camera's picking it up. See, it's just a hair different for the bottom versus the top. You need your bottom to be a little bit smaller. All right, so pop the bottom in there. You're gonna score all the way around at 1 1/4. So all 4 sides, just rotate as you go, nice and easy. When you rotate all the way around, instead of scoring at 1 1/4 and then 3 3/16, you'll always get 1 1/4 inch box sides, no matter if your paper trimmer's off a hair or whatnot. So on this one again, 1 1/4 inch all the way around. This is the lid of our box. I almost did 1 1/2 because I'm busy talking. So on the lid of our box, we're gonna mark 3 1/2 with a little divot. Rotate 180 and mark 3 1/2. So those little divots there, that's the mark, so that when you punch these little thumb notches, they'll be exactly lined up on both sides of the box. And I'm going to show you a quick little tip when we get to there, how to make those the same depth and exactly the same place on both sides of the box using those little marks that you made. Now, this is the template for the box, and I'll have a picture of that on the project sheet. How I put that on the template is that your 4 7/16 by 6 15/16 inch piece can be achieved by cutting 2 4 1/2 by 7 pieces, then trim 1 piece 1/16 inch in both directions, okay? And then the outside of the box lid template will also tell you the designer series paper. So if you wanted to put designer series paper on all 4 sides of your box and on the lid, your measurements for the top would be 1 3/4 by 4 1/4. Then you'd need 2 pieces for the long side, 1 by 4 1/4 inch, and that would do these sides of your box, so 2 of those. And if you want designer series paper for the short sides of your box, you do 1 by 1 3/4, 2 pieces. So that information will all be on the printable project sheet. That might not get up until tomorrow, but it will be It will be tonight or tomorrow. All right, let's work these score lines. How are you guys doing? Following the box instructions? Let's give these guys a burnish with the bone folder. Work all the score lines. I've got my little butterfly outline, my butterfly wings. This is from Hippo Happiness. I love the two-step stamping. We're going to be doing a lot of those. Stamp the outline and stamp the fill-in. All right, so what I'm going to do with this guy, Misty Moonlight cardstock, Misty Moonlight ink. I need a Stampin' Pierce mat because I've got my photopolymer set. It's going to make a crisper impression. And if you haven't heard, it's coming back, the Stampin' Pierce mat. So, little butterfly here. I'm going to stamp off the edges. So I'm going to protect my Stampin' Pierce mat. Let's see here. I want one at the bottom of my box. So I'll start with that. I want one at the top of my box. And then we'll just make a little cluster of 3. All right, that definitely differentiates my top from my bottom boxes. Let's get some scissors. And we're gonna cut these out. So we're gonna cut our score lines. Ooh, that guy's only gonna have a tiny bit of butterfly. Maybe I need another butterfly. I think I'm going for it. I'm gonna leave it how it is. So when I cut out these little score lines, I cut them out like a dart. You wanna debulk them, but you don't want an extreme angle. Just a little bit. You still want nice square edges on your box when you're putting it together. So just a bit to debulk. And then I also went back and cut a little angle cut here. So just a slight angle up to the score line so that when you put this together, nothing hangs past the edge of the box. Sometimes, you know, when you get a box and you square up the corner and it's still got a little, if you cut that angle like I showed you, then you'll always have a nice smooth edge. So let's go ahead and cut those. All right, so we've got our lid piece. Let's do our bottom piece. If I can figure out where I buried it. I tell you, I make a huge mess when I'm stamping. All right, same thing, lots of trimming. So if you want a lid that has a little window in it, we talked about how you can make your box covered in designer series paper and the sizes that you'd need for that, and that'll all be noted on the template. But if you wanted a box with a window, let me show you something here. So I've got my Stitch So Sweetly rectangle here. This we're gonna put on the top of the box. It's, which one? This is the third largest. So this is 2 1/16 by 3 and 3/16. So if you wanted to, you could, on the lid of your box, adhere your Stitch So Sweetly. And then you could take the next smaller nested Stitched So Sweetly die, and you could, after you've adhered your rectangle to the front of the box, now you could go ahead and put the next Stitch So Sweetly, so this 2 3/4 by 1 5/8. You could put that one right centered on top of there, run that through your Big Shot, and then you'd have a window in your box. So if you had a cute little treat that you wanted to show off, now would be the time to cut a window. I'm not going to do that because I wanted my little unicorn running through there, and if I put a window, then the adhesive would show on the inside of the box, and the Twinkie, my unicorn would be running over the Twinkie. So I decided against a window, but if you wanted one, now would be the time to do that, because we are about to close up or form our box. So like I told you, we angled that cut so that it doesn't peek out below the bottom edge of the box, but I also purposeful in the way that I put my adhesive. I do equal signs on the tabs because this is going to give you a nice tight grip along the bottom edge of your box. So we're putting the adhesive so that it runs along the bottom edge of the box so that this little tab here is stuck down tight. You don't want this little tab here to catch every time you try to put the lid on the box. So there's usually a method to the madness. I'd like to try to explain it as I go along if I remember to, but the adhesive placement for this one is purposeful so that you get a nice smooth open and close function on your box. There's less areas for the lid to catch up on the bottom of the box. All right, so I'm just tucking in the tabs, burnishing down. We're gonna do the same thing with the bottom side of the box. All right, so there's the bottom of our box, the top of our box. And before we go any further, let's get these little thumb notches punched. So remember how we made those little divots at 3.5? Now we're gonna come in with a 1-inch circle punch. I'm sure you all still have one. And we're going to center, pretty well center. Do a little tiny bit to the left because we have that 1/16 inch wiggle room. Now we've got the little punch out we did. We'll take a little bit of dry adhesive. Got my Stampin' Seal here and just a touch of it. Now we're going to put that right on top of our other divot. That was also at 3.5 inches. Glue it down. Then we'll take our punch and line that guy right up in the punch. So both of these are exactly the same depth. They're exactly the same placement. You get perfect little thumb holds for opening and closing your box. Totally need a Twinkie, so see, nice size for that. Fits perfectly. If you find other things that fit in this box, I want to hear about it. All right, my designer series paper is from the In Color. This is the 2020-2022 In Color designer series paper. It's Misty Moonlight, 1/2 inch by 2.5. This one's from the Brights 6x6 designer series paper. It's Flirty Flamingo, also 1/2 by 2.5. And then from Subtles, we have Soft Seafoam, and this is 1/2 by 2.5. And what I'm gonna do is just run a little bit. I feel like with the new Stampin' Seal, I have to get it going. I have to use my finger to get it going. And I don't know if that's user error or getting used to it, but that's what's happening for me. I'll keep giving you my feedback, letting you know how I feel about it as I use it more. Let's see here. I'm gonna go this way this time. I think that looks like denim, don't you? Get the other little pattern out this time. And then this little guy, Flirty Flamingo. We're just kind of zigging, zagging them to make a background. Might be a little wider than the other one. That's okay. Now we got some more stamping and some die cutting to do. So I already have one of these. My kids call them ramen noodles or danger noodles. I think it's one of the dies from the Hippo and Friends dies. We're going to cut one of those. We've already cut one. We're going to cut another from a scrap of soft seafoam. And then I got a piece of Whisper White cardstock here. So let's do a little stamping and cutting. Oh, I just almost knocked you guys over. Everybody okay? I hope you were wearing your seatbelts. Oh my goodness. All right, we're going to Flirty Flamingo. We're going to Misty Moonlight. And we're going to, oh, I saw a thumbs up. That means you guys are okay. Basic Gray. So those are our 3 Stampin' pads. All right, I think I'm all set up here. I need a 2-part unicorn. So I really love this guy. It's kind of like the unicorn. Well, he's a horse until you put a And then this is his pajamas. Do you see that? Does it show better on the white? So here's his pajamas. And here he is. So we're going to take him and we're going to stamp him in Flirty Flamingo 2nd generation. So you need some scratch paper, ink up. And I like when I've got a larger photopolymer stamp, I like to kind of roll it in the ink. And then we're going to stamp off and then stamp our little horse. We'll make it a unicorn, of course. Let the ink transfer. It takes some time. And now we need his pajamas. Here's where photopolymer is kind of important. So we're going to ink him up. And then we got to line him up. And this is the tricky bit, especially when there's a camera in between you and your horse. But I'm going to try and put his pajamas on nice and accurate. Here we go. Let's see if I did it. Oh, not bad. Look. So I love it because see his hooves, tail, mane, and snout are all lighter shade of the same color when you stamp the pajamas over the top. All right, we'll give that a second to dry. Let's do the butterfly. Butterfly we're going to do in reverse. I'm going to do the dark, the full strength butterfly with Misty Moonlight. And then we're going to go in with his wings, 2nd generation. So stamp off and then color in. Again, you got to line it up. Let's see. Ah, good. Then his face. His face is basic gray. I'm trying to figure out, okay, there's his eyes and his nose and his mouth. Okay. Got to get the orientation first. Okay, I think I got it. So we're going to put his little mouth in the center of his face, his little eyes, underneath his ears. Take your time. Line it up. And look at his little smile. Oh my gosh, so cute. I can hardly even stand it. All right, we got to do some die cutting. I'm going to get rid of Smoky Slate. We're done with that one. I'm going to set aside Misty Moonlight because we're going to need it one more time for our sentiment. But we need to get the big shot in here and cut these guys out. So, here we are. I'm going to see if we can do all of our die cutting in one pass. You'd need 2 passes because I already have 1 danger noodle. I don't even know what that's a reference to. Desi, what's a danger noodle? A snake. A danger noodle is a snake. That's what they keep calling these little wiggly bits. So I got the smallest little clipped rectangle tag. We're going to cut that one. And then we're going to cut our butterfly and our unicorn out. I've got a little unicorn horn over here. I'm going to get a little tiny, tiny scrap, the littlest bitty. I love this. Here's a little scrap of silver foil and the horn. And my little ramen noodle on seafoam. All right, I think we're good to give it a crank. Everybody's still where they belong. Looks good. Roll it. That's the cutest thing you ever saw ever. Oh my goodness. Here's our ramen noodle. I love that die. You guys are going to see that a lot for little accent pieces. I couldn't use any ribbon in Taboo, so instead I used ramen noodles. All right, let me get these guys back in here. I think we have all of our pieces now. Grab my label. My Stampin' Pierce mat. We need a sentiment. When in doubt, be a unicorn. I think that that is very good advice. Barb says, my sweater is making her hot. It's supposed to be 108 degrees. You're in Arizona, right, Barb? Is that what I saw? See what happens. I'm downstairs in my house. That's where we're on the first level. And we put an addition on the house about 4 years ago, but we've been here for about 22 years. And my downstairs, there's a cold air return, just one for the whole downstairs. And it's right next to It's right behind me, and then it goes right into the furnace, the hot air intake or the cold air intake, and it is so loud when the air condition is on. So what I do is before I go live or before I film a video, I crank the air conditioning until it's freezing in here, and then I turn it off while I'm on camera. So I start out freezing to death and then end up warm. All right, I'm gonna do a tiny little dab of multi-purpose liquid glue, and let's make this guy a unicorn. Uh-oh, I don't want a big glob of glue on his head. Let's add the horn on the top of our now it's a unicorn with a little silver horn. And we need Stampin' Dimensionals. Lots of Stampin' Dimensionals. Bunch of half dimensionals. Let's put on When in Doubt, Be a Unicorn with some dimensionals. All right, when in doubt, be a unicorns, on with dimensionals. Let's get our little butterfly ready. I'm gonna fold his wings up and then put a piece of dimensional on the body. It's gonna go with these little noodly dudes first. All right, let's see. Here's the test. Did you get it flowing for me, kid? I don't know about that one. Yeah, there we go. Desi got my glue flowing. You guys don't have to hang out and watch me fix it. All right, these guys across the edge. It's kind of little rolling grass hills, I guess. And then this little dude. Just decorating now. We're gonna add a couple of little sequins and our stamped bits, and we'll be all done. I love this little dude. So cute. Wait till you see. Romping. This guy. And because it's a unicorn, we need some sparkle. I've got the woven threads sequin assortment, and we're going to use the lighter blue one. It's Seaside Spray, which actually coordinates really nicely with Misty Moonlight. And let's see here, we want a bigger one, a littler one, and then a littler one. I like to put the little dots of glue on the project, and then we can use the take your pick tool to find the sequins and put them on. All done. When in doubt, be a unicorn. There it is. All right, if you got questions about the project, the product, the join promotion, and you want to get Hippo Happiness for free with your starter kit, email me, marisa@kitchentablestamper.com, and a shop 24/7, marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. You guys have a fantastic weekend. I hope you have some time to craft, and reach out if you need me, okay? Bye, guys. Have a great day.